Are they liking the homoerotic relationship between Eddie Brock and Venom?
Do you want me to Google that?
Back to this with you.
Just saying, man, it's there.
I don't think most people lock onto that because nobody but you fucking noticed that. You goddamn maniac.
It's actually on tvtropes.com.
That it's like a fucking thing?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What's the specific trope? That's why I had you open that page. Welcome to Drunken Movie Geeks. My name is Matt Swizzy, and with me is Kristian Lariviere. Today we're talking about Venom. Directed by the same guy who directed Zombieland, so you know this movie's going to be enjoyable. I couldn't even finish that sentence. Oh. My God.
You're trash, Brock.
All right, so we haven't actually talked about...
No, and this is a rare thing, because usually one of us gets out of the theater having already seen it. Next one goes, hey man, what'd you think? Well, I thought this. So the onus is on you.
So how were you feeling going into this movie?
Ambivalent. I did not care.
Yeah, listen, I think the idea of making a Venom movie disconnected from Spider-Man is stupid.
And it was dumb.
And it's contrary to kind of what the point of Venom as a character is. So
Venom gets his name from a Spider-Man interaction. And the naming of the symbiotes is something I fucking had a problem with in this movie from the first place. Because you can't make a Venom movie without Spider-Man, just like you can't make a Carnage movie without Venom, which we'll get to way later.
So here's the thing. I did not need this movie to exist. I think it's a stupid idea for a movie. And,
Please tell me you actually enjoyed it, though.
man, I had a really good time.
Actually?
I laughed consistently. From the time Tom Hardy becomes Venom, I was laughing like throughout.
Okay.
I had a really good time.
So
It's not the Venom movie I thought it was gonna be.
I'm so happy.
It's actually.
I'm so happy this is your reaction. I was going up to this. I'm like, is he gonna like this or is he gonna hate it? If he hates it, this is gonna be boring. This is so good. Oh
I
man.
don't know. You know who else may have enjoyed this movie?
Okay.
Fact check Dan in the Dan Cave.
Dan, did you like this?
I did. I had a lot of fun.
You can't go to movies together anymore. That's not. You're not allowed to do this. You guys are the reason that fucking Justice League didn't go direct to DVD. People like you. This is fucking bullshit.
Dude, Venom is. I enjoyed more than Justice League.
I feel like if you guys were in test audiences, though, I think this movie could have been better. Because there's like little glimmers where it's enjoyable, and then I'm like, you know what? No, okay. Let's start from the top.
Yeah.
Malaysia.
Starts, spaceship crashes, symbiotes get out.
And they give a good comic shout out to Werewolf at Night, John Jameson.
Yes,
Yeah.
I like that there was, I guess, J. Jonah Jameson's kid.
That is exactly who it is.
They do say Jameson.
That's John Jameson the third.
I know legally this movie can't.
I think it can because
connected to-
Sony owns. Well, there's no
That's
Jameson.
just, there's no J. Jonah
There's
in Homecoming.
there's no Jonah in
No,
Homecoming,
that's true.
right? So they've given like nice little shout outs.
Yeah.
The
And
foundation
then
is there.
he takes over a girl, the van flips over, she comes out. They do a nice, there's a nice bit.
The
She comes out.
body swapping thing was so stupid.
Yeah, but it had this like kind of weird horror movie thing.
That's okay.
And,
That's what I'm talking about. Like it had
know.
glimmers of like this could have been a great body horror movie.
Yeah.
It could have been really creepy
but
if
you
they
know
had
what?
just gone with the R rating. But
So-
from the beginning, it was never planned to have an R rating.
Oh no.
No,
I thought they shot a
No,
version
there's
of this movie.
Ruben Fleischer is quoted, and I think Dan can help me out with this. He was quoted as saying Venom was never supposed to be an R-rated movie.
Okay, I thought they had kept the door open. Where I heard they shot kind of an R version and a PG-13
I don't think
version.
they did. I think that the cut footage they're talking about is more actual Venom in the suit stuff.
Okay.
Because there's very little of that in the movie.
Sure, there's not a ton.
Dan, did you find the
Fleischer didn't even know if it was going to be rated R or PG-13.
That's so funny. Fucking ridiculous.
So let's break it down. The first half hour of this movie
Mm-hmm.
is kind of like your standard pre-Marvel era superhero movie.
You know what this reminded me of? It reminded... Oh, man. I don't know how many people have seen this movie because of how badly it performed, but does anybody remember how Steel started out?
Yeah.
How would you like to help me deal the next generation of superweapons to the world?
The weapons of tomorrow.
I saw Steel.
So Steel starts out with like the establishment of the big bad company that Shaq works for.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of idea in this. And like, now that I'm remembering watching both movies, all I can think of is like, you know, I've been making weapons my entire life, but now I gotta make something that works for me. And then fucking he has the Superman S on his bicep because it, you know, needed to be there.
Yeah.
You wanna know what you can do to help?
What? Anything.
Don't tell grandma.
Digression aside, they have a very similar feel. Like this feels like this could stack up against, you know, 1998's Blade,
Yes.
or 1997's Spawn, or 2003's Catwoman because it's fucking awful.
We call them symbiotes.
All just kind of like been there, done that. It's all kind of like, yeah, it's fine. I don't know. This movie's amazing because of Tom Hardy, like single-handedly. And I don't know if it's either because Tom Hardy was making a different kind of movie. Like, I'm not, I don't think the rest of the movie knew what he was doing.
I don't have a fucking word for how that makes me feel. This movie is amazing because of Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
You know how there's all these British actors who get fucking pissed at Americans because we can't do their voice? What is his voice in this movie?
I don't know, man.
It's
I
so
don't know.
inconsistent.
I know.
I'm a reporter. I follow people that do not want to be followed.
What about the allegations that you recruit the most vulnerable for tests that end up killing people?
Like, there's parts where he's like, hey, you know, Ann, I'm gonna try and get back with you, you know, in a couple weeks maybe. I don't know. I loves you so
It's got
much.
a bit of a New York thing.
It's not. It's like he's just been hit in the head repeatedly.
But you suck.
Like he has, like I can't fucking handle it, man. It's so bad.
Here's what I'll say. It's not the Eddie Brock from the comics.
It's not Eddie Brock from any universe.
Which I'm fine with because I think that would have been a bad movie. I think if they had done 90s grim, dark, edgelord Venom, it would have been a shitty movie.
I think it would have been hilarious.
No, this movie is hilarious. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just sick of like edgy, dark comic book movies.
Correct.
And I would have hated this more if it was that. If this had been more comic accurate, I would have hated it more. And I like that it wasn't comic accurate. And they're like, dude, I would have watched an hour and a half of Tom Hardy talking to himself, like walking down the street.
I wouldn't have because
Like,
I don't understand why that's the direction. Because that breaks the whole the symbiote and the host are one thing that they said Eddie was achieving because he was more compatible with the symbiote. I have always liked that the symbiote is we are doing this. And even when Eddie has the symbiote in the comics, he speaks in the plural. Like, it's never the first person singular, it's the first person plural. Like, it's we are doing this. And I love that.
But I kind of
and
like
you
that
only
they're-
get that little bit at the end. Like, it's such a fucking cock tease. Again, Sony is using the end of their movie to sell the movie, just like they did with Amazing Spider-Man 2, which was also a pile of shit. That's what they're
That movie
doing.
was a pile of shit.
They're both piles of shit. The interactions with the symbiotes where he talks to himself and all of the symbiotes being like the devil on their shoulder, they could have been done so much better by just, and I stress this, the best time that it was done is when Eddie was looking in the mirror or looking in the car's glass.
Oh, yeah, and he saw.
That was the best time because it shows you that it's not a separate part of you anymore. It's just part of you. In that first 30 minutes where they show the Riot symbiote hopping between bodies and causing damage, that's what I would have liked to have seen the actual Venom symbiote be. I would have liked there to have been
you
a twist
can't
with that.
because you need a good person in the movie, and that's where the idea of the fundamental idea.
Eddie Brock's not a good person
But
though.
that's-
They even over like they.
But you gotta ride
at
that
the beginning of the
line.
movie. He fucking steals confidential documents that gets his fiance fired. That's a dick move.
it is, and
Eddie
he-
Brock has always been an asshole.
and he pays for that.
He does pay for
puts
that.
up with
But
it.
the thing is, like,
But I mean, it comes back to the fundamental issue of taking a villain and making him your main character is just a bad idea. So obviously they have to try to play him down the middle where he's
anti-heroes can make a good
Yes.
movie if it's a movie like Logan or The Wolverine, where it's
But Logan-
competently
but
directed.
Logan is a good person kind of at heart, which I think is kind of what they did here. Once Tom Hardy gets the symbiote, and there's that great first moment he's looking in the mirror and he's like, hi, and he's like, ugh, and like flies back and like knocks to us. I laughed so hard. From that point on, I was like, okay, movie, I'm with you.
That's where it fell off for me too.
Let me describe this movie. This movie is a buddy comedy between Eddie Brock and Venom.
There's not
And it
enough of that
plays-
for me,
I
though.
agree. I could have used more, but what's there is very enjoyable, and I wish there was more of that.
What's there has been cut to the point that they can have a movie featuring enough to say that you're having a buddy comedy, but there's not a buddy comedy film. This was meant to be a serious action horror film.
I think so.
That they've reframed as a buddy comedy.
Which it works way better as.
It would have been amazing just to see how fucking committed Tom Hardy was to keeping that shitty accent gritty. Like, oh my god, the
Dan,
voice
you're an
got...
actor. Talk about his accent.
I tried to, at the beginning, figure out.
Really, out of the 3 people here that do accents, you're really going to call on him for this?
He's an actor.
Matt's is really good.
Mine's very good, and I can tell you for a fact that Venom is just awful.
Comment on Tom Hardy's acting, Dan.
Oh, no, it was
How
wonderful.
method did he go?
It was great.
Did he cover himself in tar for this film?
Probably. Like, this is method 101 is what he was doing.
Yeah, no, I took a Sharpie on the set and just colored myself black. Like, fucking... This fucking movie, man.
Honestly, the weirder and the more... Like, honestly, the worse the accent got, the more I liked it.
That's such a weird thing to say. Like, that's a wild take.
I don't know.
That's a hot take. Like, I don't even know.
It's weird. And I really like it.
The suit, man,
funny.
the CG looked unfinished. That entire motorcycle chase looked bad. The fight with Riot looked bad.
The fight with Riot
looked awful.
But it devolved into which is oddly enough very much a Marvel issue of like CG person fighting CG person. I'm just like, all right, this is a big CG mess. Yeah, like that. Again, I agree that the climax of this movie's not the greatest.
The Eminem song in the trailers was awful, or in the credits was awful.
Yeah,
they were so close to being like a James Bond movie, though.
Yeah. How is that a James Bond movie?
They kind of do like that
great song.
Yeah, the credit sequence with its own theme song. Again, which is bad.
Oh, Avengers 1 had that. They had a Soundgarden song. R.I.P. Chris Cornell.
Oh, it's true.
They did. They had a Chris Cornell Audio Slave song. It was terrible.
On a real movie,
yeah,
I think the whole like having its own theme song is kind of stupid. On this movie, I'm like, that's stupid. I don't know. And again, I kept going bounce.
You got really excited about it. I don't know. I mean,
I kept going back.
I have it on my Spotify right now.
I'm just like,
it bangs.
This is weird. And I'm like, I wonder how much they know. Like, do they know how weird it is?
This is the David Lynch Dune of superhero movies. Like,
David
it's so
Lynch Dune
fucking
is really
stupid.
Weird. It's really weird too.
There's so much about this movie we've talked about, but Woody Harrelson's wig might be the best Wi-Fi name of 2018.
So the movie ends.
Connect to Woody Harrelson's wig. Would you like the password to Woody Harrelson's wig? It's There Will Be Carnage, all lower score.
Yeah, so the movie ends.
With an awkward smiley face emoji at the fucking end.
You have to get your obligatory mid-credit sequence.
It was so fucking bad.
And,
the FBI wants me to profile this guy because I'm clearly an experienced criminal profiler.
Yeah, I kind of wish there had been some setup for that.
There was
at
not.
Some point in the movie.
There wasn't even like a 9 months later. It was fucking just a disaster.
And again, listen, Woody Harrelson as Cassius Clay. What the fuck's his name?
That's fucking Muhammad Ali.
But what's
Cletus Cassidy.
Cletus Cassidy.
Fucking Woody Harrelson as Cassius Clay. I watched the hell out of that movie. Don't even put him in blackface either. Just fucking have him do it.
Yeah. I mean,
I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. His hands can't hit what his eyes can't see. I tell you that much. Fuck me.
Listen, if you're gonna do Carnage, which Carnage is a shit character that I don't care about, but if you're gonna do
that's a hot take.
I don't know, like
you're full of hot takes.
I don't know. Carnage is only interesting because it forces Venom and Spider-Man to team up. So if you're gonna do a Venom Spider-Man team up movie versus Carnage, fine, do Carnage. If you're not gonna do that, do you think this movie would have been better if it was R-rated?
I think it would have been a lot more believable as a Venom movie if it was R-rated. Because when he bites people in half in this movie and their just bodies disappear, I'm like, dog, you're fucking with me.
So, and that's where...
And the blades just knocking shit off the desks, by the way. Yeah. Like, instead of cutting things in half, the blades are just like, excuse me, my clubs.
Yeah,
just fucking knocking shit. It was dumb.
I do think more... And I do consider this movie a comedy, first and foremost, above all else. And
you're moving the goalposts so hard.
Just saying, this movie works best
as
a
yes, you have
comedy.
the fucking wig up there.
I don't know if we'll be able to use it though because it's video.
Yeah.
You know, here's a good question. Do you think he looks like he has Treacher Collins syndrome in that picture? If you don't know what Treacher Collins syndrome is, you fucking look that up right now, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong.
But here's where I think the R rating could have milked a bit more comedy.
I call it Treacher Collins syndrome.
At the end of the movie, when he's in the grocery store, right, and he does eat that guy, I think that a different version of that.
I've come to talk with you again.
Scene.
How right am I? How disturbingly accurate am I now that you've looked it up?
I've come to talk with you again.
That scene at the end when he's explaining to Venom, there are good people,
Pancreas,
there are bad,
eyes, lungs, liver, so many things to devour, told in so little time. Like, that's a line from the comics, and he does fucking none of that.
But that scene at the end when he explains to Venom, there are good people, there are bad people, all that scene needed to happen earlier in the movie, and that's where they start. That's kind of. Movie should have been about. Yes, I agree.
It should have been a movie where he was not discovering, because I hate that word, where he was fighting against the symbiote, and then they finally realized, you know what, fuck this guy, because he's the one that caused our problems in the first place. He brought you to this planet. He made me lose my job. Let's go fuck this motherfucker up.
Which is kind
and
of
don't ever show him bonding with the symbiote in the first place. Show like the symbiote coming to America and then coming back to the Life Foundation, and Carlton Drake's like, oh hey, you're back. Do that all off screen. Then Carlton Drake's like, all right, cool. You want to throw down?
They shouldn't have even talked about where the symbiote.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they should have shown the crash site and the symbiote moving. Also, make it a different color than gray. Because this movie, when you're watching 3D, what's Riot's color in the comics? I think it's gray anyway.
Yeah.
I think they should have made it a little bit better than like, this is charcoal and this is black. Like, these are our two colors.
Again, the movie is, when it was like CG Venom fighting CG Riot, I was like, eh. I'm like,
it's gray.
This isn't what I don't care about this.
I don't know, man. I think the whole thing, it works if you don't care about watching something that makes sense and you just want to watch something that's fun to watch. I like Tom Hardy. I have loved him. I love him in Bronson, actually. Tom Hardy in Bronson is fucking excellent.
Really good.
But I don't think he has enough awareness to play that scene as a comedy scene. I don't think he's done enough comedies other than that shit movie that he was in with Captain Kirk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Spy That Dicked Me or whatever it is. Like Spy versus Spy.
Not Man from U.N.C.L.E., but...
No, it was another dumb fucking movie. I think that broad from Legally Blonde was in it.
I'm sure Dan can pull it up.
Yeah, it's really irrelevant, so don't waste the bandwidth. But like, fuck, man, I don't know. I don't think he has enough awareness to make it, and that's the whole thing. I don't think there's enough awareness on anybody's part to make this movie a comedy. I think it's an accidental comedy, like The Room is an accidental comedy.
I think it might be. It might be accidental.
It's 100% accidental.
It might be.
Michelle Williams came in for a paycheck. Tom Hardy's like, oh, I love Venom. You know, back in England, I read all the Venom comics.
Did he say that?
I don't fucking know.
No.
I don't do enough research on Tom Hardy's life to give a shit. Like,
I guarantee you, my take on
he's 5'6" and wears lifts in his shoes. I don't give a fuck what he does.
I'm pretty sure my take on it is Tom Hardy read the script. He's like, this isn't very good. He's like, Ruben, I'm gonna just roll. All right, I'm just gonna do something and we're gonna go with it.
He's taking the Orson Welles approach to the film.
Yeah.
Where he's gonna try and sell you some fucking coffee crystals.
I feel like on set, Tom Hardy took over this movie and made it something that it wasn't meant to be. And the movie's constantly like, we want to be a dark, serious comic book movie. And then Tom Hardy's like, it's a fucking weird buddy comedy. And the movie kind of keeps fighting back and forth.
That's like
the editor must have.
I watched the first episode.
Like, I don't know what to do with this.
Dude, I watched the first episode of Titans last night. Same exact thing.
Yeah, that looks like shit.
Oh. After we wrap, I will tell you all about my feelings about that show because it is a whole other episode.
So what's your takeaway?
My takeaway from this is that I will give them another chance. I like dumb movies. I like intelligent movies too, but I really like movies when they're at their dumbest, like this movie is. This movie's on fucking life support. This movie's Terry Schiavo. It's a fucking vegetable.
I think this movie's not good, but it's very enjoyable.
I liked it, but it wasn't. Would you say it's worth your money? No, oh man, that's the hardest thing for you to say right now.
Yeah, I mean, watch it when it's on Netflix for sure.
It won't be.
No?
It's going to be on Sony's own distribution thing because they're going to do that as soon as they see how good Marvel's is.
Yeah. Once it shows up on your streaming service, watch it for sure. Consider it a comedy.
Once it's on Hulu Video or Blockbuster Prime.
Watch it on Hulu.
Rent it from your local Blockbuster. That's, I think, what I would say about this fucking movie. Be kind. Don't mind watching this. Like, it's just trash.